Okay, hi, I am making a video on how to draw stuff. Feel free to watch, and you might learn a few things. I am Zach Morris. Some of the internet might know me as the Clean Booger. Yes, awesome username. First thing, I am drawing this digitally with a tablet, but a lot of the things that I am going over they work with paper just well, and I'll talk about how they do. So let's start up Photoshop here. Photoshop, which, by the way, I got this legally. I did not hack this, you guys. And I'll tell you, it takes a second to start up. Hey, Photoshop, get on with it! Even I think that was on. Whoa, why'd that happen? Okay, now, go over some basics. In Photoshop, basically to draw what you want is the brush tool here. You can use a pencil tool if you want to make something pixely. I use the brush tool because it looks like you drew it. Interpret that as you will. And let's go File, open a new document. Doesn't really matter how big it is. Maybe don't make it ridiculously big unless you want to make a ridiculously big picture. And you'll notice I'm doing 600 pixels per inch. That's going to make a really big file. Usually people go with maybe 300, 100. I just go with 600 because I like freaking huge detail, but don't do that because you might kill your computer with a bunch of big files. So now we have, this is the background, and this is one layer, and it's all white. And if I draw on it, I'm just drawing on this one layer, and you can't really manipulate it very well. Let's undo that. So you go down here and you make a new layer, layer 1, and zoom in a little bit, and I'll show you how to draw. You want layers are very important in Photoshop if you're doing cartoon work because you want to be able to move stuff around. Like I'm going to show you. You have, oh, that looks like crap. Ignore the crap. By the way, for those of you who want to learn how to draw with a tablet, I will tell you right now that if you're used to drawing with paper, drawing with a tablet can suck, like really bad. I mean, maybe you'll get lucky. For me, it sucked. It took a long time to learn how to draw right with a tablet, so buy one at your own risk. Okay, so now I drew this, and it's on another layer, so I can move it around. And like, you push this button, you can turn off a layer, so you turn off the background. You still have this here. Turn that off. And see it. So this is another layer. It's just literally the pixels. It's like here's the drawing, and down here is the background. I can move this drawing around and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it, and I'm not messing with the background. It also means if I add a layer here, I can add color like this. This is a really stupid, tedious way of getting color. There we go. That's faster. Drop it down. Now you see we have a color layer, the background, and the line work. And in all honesty, that's a big part of how I do my drawings. Is just layer color, layer lines, and a layer of shading, which is like with a darker color. Oh, no, it's got highlights and it's better. So, oh, so cool. No, it doesn't. So let's delete these layers because nobody's gonna miss them. Nobody's gonna miss these guys. It's a crappy part. Okay, now another layer. And by the way, with a tablet, pen, with stylus, there's a button you can push with your thumb, and And that button is like the right click on a mouse that lets you mess with your brushes and stuff. Since I see that pop up. Now this is how I draw characters. Let's do Mickey Mouse. When I was about 4 years old, I learned how to draw from Mickey Mouse. You start with, again, another layer, a circle, and then you got a couple lines going up and across, up and down and across his face. Now that is important because it helps you see in 3D where his face is pointing. Let's see in a minute. You add a hot dog thingy, basically for his nose. By the way, it's okay at this point if your lines are kind of rough and stupid looking like this, because we're gonna delete this layer later, but we're still gonna have the drawing. Whoa, how's that gonna happen? You'll see. You'll see. Add circle for his nose. Circle here. Now remember, pay attention to that line again. That helps you position where his eyes go in 3D. See that? Circles within his eyes. And then up here, he has this weird face mask thingy, which is just circles around his ears. Now, a lot of people think that his ears are just circles. Just like I said, they are not. They are not actually circles. His ears are ovals. And you'll notice if whenever you draw Mickey Mouse, if you make his ears look like circles, it won't look quite right. I'll show you. So that it kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, but it doesn't really. Make his ears ovals. That's a great one. Just flatten them not too much. Don't make it ridiculous. Just a little bit of ovals, and it really looks like Mickey Mouse. Like you see how different that looks? Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just crazy. And usually you add a little highlight here. His nose looks shiny. And sometimes they add eyebrows here. Sometimes they don't. And then his mouth is just a curve. And you put another line under that for like where his chin goes. A tiny chin. He's not a very manly mouse. You add a couple lumps for his tongue. And that's basically Mickey Mouse. Now this time we're going to make our pencil black. And we're going to lower the opacity, check this out, of the layer. So look, it's lighter. You can kind of see through it. So you make it lighter so you can still see it, but not so dark that you can't see what you're drawing now. Now is where you kind of have to be more careful with your lines. And basically this is all going to be filled in black, so don't worry too much about it. So you do this. And there, you knew where to put that because you have the drawing under it. Now, if you're doing this with paper and pencil, the exact same thing works. Just make this with pencil and go over it with pen. And then when you're done, erase the pencil lines. It really works. Add, try that again. Let's try it. There's his nose. Oh, that's bad. Yes, even I make mistakes. Shut up. Yeah, let's do it. Sometimes, if you're a little more experienced with drawing, you can take a little bit more liberty with your pen drawing from the pencil drawing to make it different. Sometimes I change things a lot from the pencil drawing. Don't really do that if you're just starting drawing. Just try to stay very close to your pencil drawing. Stay close to your sketch at first, because it will be easier on you. You won't have to worry about stuff. It's like It's like when you're learning how to shoot a gun, don't, like try anything fancy like holding it sideways. If you're just learning how to shoot a gun, just do what your instructor tells you. And don't go back. You might fuck up. You might mess up your hand. It just might happen. Now remember, we're not tracing all the lines. Like we're not doing that line and that line. Those are only there as guidelines. The final drawings are not going to be there. And actually, if we turn this off, you can already see it's starting to look like a real Mickey drawing. That is because we have the guideline. That is why you always see artists drawing like a pencil sketch first, and they go over it with another thing. It helps it out. So tracing is actually good. All the other kids on the playground are wrong. It's good to trace. They're all idiots. Apparently I'm an idiot too, because this thing is not working right for me tonight. So shaky that is. Oh, God. Oh, goodness. This, in all honesty, I personally am a lot better with drawing my line work paper and scanning it than drawing it digitally. Just in all honesty, I'm better. This is just for the benefit of so you can see me drawing something. Don't really have I'm gonna film myself drawing the paper. Plus, I like watching like Ustreams of people drawing stuff. Like I've watched like Scott Kurtz draw a couple of PvP comics. You guys ever read that? It's really just fascinating, just like sit and watch them. Like it's like it's magically appearing on the screen. You're watching it digitally like this. Okay, so that's a Mickey. That's the line work. Now we're gonna go make another layer, and we're going to fill in some color. And remember, try to. Actually, let me show you a little trick that I use. I use the magic wand tool over here. So don't use the quick selection tool, the magic wand tool. And you should be able to click on the area that you want to fill up with color. You see that? See all the marching army ants? That's the area that it's selected. And for just a quick second, turn off this layer. And you'll see a spooky image of that. And, ooh, it's creepy. Go up here to select, modify, and expand it by about 5 pixels. Should be enough. And it's a little bigger now. And that lets you just select that area, and then you can just go crazy and fill it up really easily with a bunch of color. Then hit deselect, and then kind of go back in, fill in a few of the. That whole process is just so it's easier, it's a little faster that way. And then there you go. You got a little bit of color. And you have a few places you can fill in color. Let's do over. And let's fill in his eyes. Make sure, even though the background is white, you want to add whites to his eyes here. Because if you put a background behind this, you're just going to see that background through his eyes, and it's going to look weird. So that's why usually when you draw, don't put a white background, because you'll forget to color in the white stuff, and you need to do that. I was bad for. I should not have used the white background for this. You suck. Okay. Fill in his mouth. Usually cartoon characters, you just fill in their mouths with a dark red color. Make their tongue pink. That's the best method for just making it look kind of cartoony. Just dark red. You've learned how to make a successful cartoon now. And don't make millions. There's the color. And just for the hell of it, let's draw like some trees. I'm a floating head of a tree. Super duper derp. Stupid tree. That is a stupid tree. Oh my god. That's stupid clouds. Super clouds. Whee. Truly this is a masterpiece. Okay, but you get the idea. So yeah, that is how you draw Mickey Mouse. Uh, Now let's go over a few important things just to know about drawing in general. You should study the human body a lot, how it works, because that will make you a better artist in a lot of ways. The basic shape of a human body. You have obviously the head. This is like how I draw my characters usually. You have the head. You always want to make sure you have a strong line for the spine. You always want to make sure it's a strong line of action because that will show like which way the character is leaning, this way or this way. And you add their chest. The human chest is basically shaped like this. Men have a wider chest. Women have like not so wide. That's just biology. There's nothing bad about it. Likewise, the hips are basically you pretty much get away with just putting a ball there. Again, men have smaller ones. Women have bigger ones. Shut up. And then you basically connect those like that. Now, if you're really going to go into like technical stuff for human body, you're going to want to be more detailed than that. This is just quick and dirty human body stuff. Um, you got the legs. Oops, on the thighs. You have the thighs. Very important. Calves. The Steelers. Okay. No more dumb jokes, I promise. If this, by the way, this looks kind of flat. It's because this monitor is kind of a weird resolution, and it makes everything kind of flattened. So that's why my drawings have been kind of like that lately. My laptop's monitor was on the fritz, and I had to get a monitor with it. So sorry about that. This might look weird to you. These are the calves, obviously. Again, you always try to make sure you have the general line of where the legs are leaning. So you'll see, if he's sitting, if he like his weight is on this foot, that's important. And sometimes a lot of artists have trouble drawing feet. That just happens. An easy way to remember to do that is just a foot is just like a triangle, like this. You have the ball of the foot. There, you got a basic foot. Don't make this stick out too far. That's your heel. Normally your heel doesn't look like this. Balls. That's essentially you just practice that. I mean, eventually you're gonna go into a little more subtle things like if it's really more like this. So depending on which side it is, you got toes. You basically got this general shape. You go up to the ankle. You got the bones there. There's really a lot of bones going on inside the foot. That's why it's very tricky to draw. Comparison hands are a lot simpler. So if you're just like trying to figure out how to draw feet from the beginning, start with a triangle. Just make your foot just a basic triangle like that. You should be fine. Like that's not too bad. Just remember that shape is underneath. A lot of drawing is learning how to put the bones first, and then putting the meat, the muscle around them. That's a big part of it. Let's make this guy waving hello. So put out his forearm. This part arm, his hand. It's actually good to draw the hand and then the arm. It's like, but so. By the way, hands can be tricky too. I never really had a huge problem with it, but some people do. Don't feel bad about that. Basically, for a hand, you want to do like the palm is basically like a trapezoid. That's your palm. You have the ball for your thumb here. Your actual thumb. Remember that your fingers point like this. You do not have sausage fingers. You have pointy fingers. Don't exaggerate it too much, but always remember that you got to point. Middle finger, that's the longest. Index finger, it's next, well, third, second longest, and there's the pinky. So you basically got two balls of muscle here, you got like a ball of muscle here, and you got the wrist, and then that's where the arm goes in. And that's basically all there is to drawing a hand. Let's do what we did earlier, or the opacity, draw black over top of it. Oh, there's not enough time for that. It's actually like 10 o'clock. Those of you who care. I know my clock is on the screen. I'm just joking tonight. Boop. I remember you can show, just don't, you have the ball of the thumb here and the meat here. You can just suggest that with like a line in the middle of your hand. You can see, and there's a line there too. If you generally look at your hand, there's a line there too. That's essentially, the fingers are kind of weird on this hand. Those are kind of going like, well, I can't show you. But yeah, that's it. So you went over hands, feet, you got the basic human body there. If you ever get one of those wooden mannequins that they sell at art stores, get one of those and draw it all the time. Those things are freaking amazing. They look like this. They have like that weird head. They have balls all over their body. Like you always see them on the covers of like sketchbooks and stuff. So I had one in high school that I painted like a clown face on him. I just thought it was so cute. Put pants on and stuff. Wish I knew what happened to that thing. See again, triangle feet. So remember, triangles help you with feet. And circles help you with everything else. Practice circles all the freaking time. It's impossible for a human hand to draw a perfect circle. Damn it, try your best. Balls are your friend. This is such a mature video. And so, you know what, this is probably a good starting point. Just practice what I did here. Go over, hands, feet, practice, Mickey, coloring. Because there's not a whole lot that's like vastly above this that I do with my art. This is basically, this is it. This is the essence of what I'm always doing. Okay. That sounds like a cheap trick, but that's pretty typical for artists. There's not a lot. I mean, it takes years of practice to get this really good. Say for instance, this pony. But I mean, again, you can see kind of what's going on. You got the the circles and stuff. I remember horses are very different from humans. You kind of have to learn some different rules about how it works, like the body, because the bones are set up different. So that's like a whole other thing I could go into, is drawing horses. And animals in general, they tend to have different physiologies than humans do. Horses. But yeah, I mean, again, you can see, that's essentially what's underneath that pony. Or that face, and you just got this pony. So I'm gonna stop this here. I might go into more in-depth stuff. This is just a good, beginner. Try some of these. Try drawing some of these sometime. Just whenever you got some time. Remember, you can do this on paper. You don't have to do it digitally like I am. Yeah, the tablet I have was $70, so that's like, you know, don't have a job or anything. Just pencil and paper is fine. There's no shame in pencil and paper, people. Okay, that's all for this video. I hope you liked it. Hope you actually stuck around and listened to my ramblings about drawing and stuff. See ya.